Thank you everyone for coming. This one? Okay. Beautiful day today. I have to give a shout out because I was part of this original project at the Claymont Library, how wonderful it looks. How about a round of applause for the Claymont Library? Also want to publicly thank the hard work that Councilman John Cartier both went to this project but also with the Claymont Library. Thank you, John. Okay. But to our program, I would like to welcome everyone here today to celebrate a milestone with the county's workforce housing program. Thank you to the folks at Darley Green and Monchannon Builders for hosting us. Led by County Council Member Penrose Hollins, who unfortunately cannot be with us here today, the workforce housing program was an initiative designed to provide an opportunity for low to moderate income households to purchase affordable new housing in New Castle County. There is no county, state, or federal money in the workforce housing program. This was a voluntary program used by builders in New Castle County. The county allowed density bonuses and waivers in exchange for deed restrictions on the designated workforce housing units, requiring these units to remain affordable for an extended period of time. This project, Darley Green, was the first of its kind in New Castle County and the state of Delaware. Brookview Townhomes was being redeveloped, and New Castle County saw the opportunity to create affordable housing to working families and participate in a public-private partnership to ensure workforce housing was provided as part of the redevelopment of Brookview, and this agreement was signed on June 1st, 2007. Workforce housing was based upon the Darley Green Agreement to provide affordable housing throughout New Castle County. Legislation was introduced in November of 2007 and was officially adopted and approved on March 7th, 2008. Then, unfortunately, the housing market crashed in 2008, and building almost came to a complete stop in this region. But the first application for workforce housing was not received until 2012, and the first house purchased under this program did not occur until August of 2013. The first Darley Green workforce unit was sold in October of 2015. In 2014, New Castle County placed a moratorium on the workforce housing program. The program was examined for benefit, and the program was revised and renamed as the Traditional Neighborhood Housing Program. It also became a mandatory inclusionary zoning program for rezonings in New Castle County. The legislation was subsequently passed in December of 2014. Before I introduce the County Executive, Matt Meyer, I'd like to thank our Community Development Housing staff led by Carrie Casey, who I think Ambassador Carrie Casey. Last time I say it, I promise. Okay. It's now my pleasure to introduce our County Executive, Matt Meyer.
Appreciate it. Good afternoon. It's so nice to be in Darley Green where the weather is like this every single day. Before I even start, I just need to thank former County Executive Chris Coons, who without his dedication to workforce housing and to getting projects specifically like Darley Green done, we wouldn't be standing here today. As I know, as County Executive, I stand up and do a lot of the talking. There are other people standing among us who are actually doing the work. One of those people who no longer works for the county, who showed such extreme dedication to getting this done, is in back there, Christy Gleason. So give Christy a round of applause. In addition, as Marcus mentioned, Penrose Hollins and John Cartier have really been out in the forefront of finding the most creative and innovative solutions really in the country to developing quality housing options that are affordable for all residents of New Castle County. And for them, we owe them a great debt of thanks. We are in an increasingly uncertain political and policy world. We're not sure what housing dollars are going to come tomorrow. I encourage everyone to continue pressing hard to make sure that housing dollars are there for everyone in New Castle County and across this country to have affordable housing options. We're very fortunate today to celebrate a program that actually, unlike a lot of our housing programs, doesn't take federal money, or primarily doesn't take federal money. It's really, this whole Darley Green dream is a partnership between the county and really high quality builders like Monchannon Builders, who come together and say, how do we develop affordable housing options for working people, for people who are nurses and teachers, who are firefighters and police officers, so they can live in a beautiful new townhouse like here in Darley Green. For example, to qualify for most HUD programs, Carrie Casey, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but for a family of 4, you have to be making about $66,000 or less. About $66,000 or less. To qualify for our workforce housing programs here in the county, you can be making up to $99,000, about $99,000 for a working family, for a family of 4, which of course enables a whole group, a very large group across our county of working people to have access to home ownership and to affordable housing that they wouldn't otherwise have access to. The program started off a little slow, as Marcus referred to, in 2012. There were 4 applications. Now we're up to a total of 484 applications, including 180, I think, just in this fiscal year. Today, during actually the National Home Ownership Month, I think it's called, the month of June. Is that right, Carrie? It's the National Home Ownership Month. We're celebrating the 75th home that we closed on that's enabling home ownership through this workforce housing program. And for that, we owe a tremendous debt of gratitude to, of course, Montana Builders and individuals like Carrie Casey and Marcus Henry. So give them a round of applause. We're also lucky today to actually have, I should add that in addition to the 75 homeowners, it's enabled 101 renters to access affordable housing options as well. So it's 176 total. Once we build out everything that's already approved, we'll actually enable home ownership opportunities to 484 families, and that number is growing at a pretty rapid pace. Our 75th homeowner is actually here today. Give Keisha a round of applause in back there. Raise your hand, Keisha, so we see you. Thank you. I know I was told Keisha wanted to make sure she was called out today. JJ McDonald is also here, another one of our homeowners. Good to see you, Keisha. And thanks again for making the weather so nice for us. We appreciate you preparing for us. But I want to thank everyone. I know a lot of the people who made this possible are standing here and sitting here. And thank you for your partnership. This is something that's gaining momentum. We need to continue investing in it as a county and the private sector as well to make sure that everyone in our county has a place to call home. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Claymont and welcome to Darley Green. I'm Councilman John Cartier, and I'm extremely pleased to be here to celebrate with you the National Homeowners Month of June 2017, and to celebrate our 75th homeowner, purchase, and to continue the momentum going forward. You've heard from our speakers a lot of broad a broad stroke of how the program works in the county, our workforce housing program. I'm going to focus a little bit on the actual Darley Green reality on the ground here. Darley Green is a path-breaking and really pioneering planning exercise by Newcastle County. This is the first new urbanist, walkable urbanity project in the county. You can live here and you can walk to get all the amenities of life. We have our fine library, there's a park, there's commercial retail amenities within walking distance. So conceivably a family unit could be here, or a couple, or a single, and they can literally not have 2 cars, not have 3 cars, they could get away with 1 car, or maybe no cars. Because the other thing is, we also have the #1 commuter rail stop in the vicinity as well, with SEPTA. The other pioneering aspect of this project, it's the first architecturally controlled project in the county. So all the high quality detail you see on townhouses, and believe me folks, you can go through Newcastle County and you can see some really ugly townhouses, can't you? But not here. These are beautiful. They're well designed. We load the cars from the garage on the alley. We don't have the front elevation with that ugly garage door staring at you. Also, all of the detail on the building all results from the master plan that was agreed upon and put into law in the record plan. The last piece of this that's very near and dear to my heart and to my concerns as an elected official is to have this project as a platform for sustainable home ownership that is linked to the actual earning power of people who live, work, and will spend their lives in New Castle County, and that includes all our fine first responders, our police, our paramedics, our 911 operators, our nurses, all these type of people who are the bread, the fiber of our community. They can have an opportunity to come here, have a home ownership experience, and in a sustainable fashion live here over the years. So I've been very proud of this part of the program here at Darley Green. I've been the advocate for it, I will just say to you, over the years. It is the first agreement of its kind in New Castle County, this workforce housing agreement on this site. So what are we going to have here? We're going to have approximately 107 units, about 12% of the build out of the project of a little over 850 will be dedicated as sustainable home ownership workforce units. And I'm very proud of all the work that goes on in our county through the staff of the Community Services Department who shepherded this, Carrie Casey and the team, Marcus Henry, the manager, and our fine county executive has remained committed to this program since he's been inaugurated into leadership of this county. I just want to thank you all for being here today and really enjoy the day with us in this very fine project and a very fine residential community of Darley Green. Thank you.
Thank you, John. It's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Ramona Fullman. She's the Director of the Division of Human Relations and the Office of the Delaware Commission for Women. Ramona?
Good afternoon, everyone. County Executive Matt Myers, to County Councilman Courtier, I thank you for this opportunity, and to all of you who made this day possible, Monchannon Builders, Carrie, my friend Carrie, and all of you who worked to make this possible. This project dates back to 2007. However, since then, due in large part to the courageous and persistent leadership of County Councilperson Hollins, who is not here today, as was mentioned, laws and policies have been enacted to greatly expand inclusionary zoning and fair housing choice in New Castle County, which is important to everyone. We cannot deny the negative impact of past laws that forced residential segregation and enabled practices like redlining, racial steering, blockbusting, and the vestiges that we still struggle with today in that regard. The Fair Housing Act was passed nearly 60 years ago and protects against those practices and others that are discriminatory in the sale, lease, or rental of housing and any aspect of the credit application. The Division of Human Relations and the State Human Relations Commission enforce the fair housing laws and work on a daily basis to fulfill our obligation for affirmatively furthering fair housing. Our efforts to do that, to affirmatively further fair housing, require effective relationships with partners such as the New Castle County Division of Community Development and Housing. Again, Carrie is a dear partner to our work. They recognize inclusionary zoning as a viable market-based strategy for increasing affordable housing and creating mixed communities. Congratulations to Monchannon Builders for this beautiful development. I had a meeting in the library and looked across and I said, I wonder when those houses are going to be open and how to get in them and the like. So now I'm here, I've taken a tour, I'm going to go back again. My daughter's looking for housing, so hey, you never know. The ease, as was mentioned by the councilman, the ease of access to public transportation, interstate highways, public parks, public libraries, restaurants, and shopping are all the very amenities that will attract people to this development. Housing and community development efforts must address a complex network of individual, social, economic, and environmental factors in order to promote diverse, and inclusive communities, and improve sustainability of neighborhoods and communities. Newcastle County is commended for its continuous progress in that regard, and we look to continue to be partners with Newcastle County government in their work. Thank you.
Before I introduce our final speaker, I want to publicly thank Sheena and Stephanie who do all the day-to-day work to make this happen. Thank you. Thank you. Under their leadership, I mean, we've seen a real increase, obviously, as we've talked about, and it's thanks to their good work, so thank you again. Our last speaker is Mr. Brett Sadler, the Executive Director of the Claymont Renaissance Development Corporation. Brett's been the Executive Director for a long, long time, and he's a good friend. Come on, Brett.
No gray hair when I started. I know you all are standing in the hot sun there, even though it's a nice breeze. I'll be very brief. Let's speak about Claymont for a second, where this beautiful community lives. One day I was coming here for a project meeting. We have one here every couple weeks with the builders. And I parked up to the food line because I wanted to walk. I should do a little more walking. Actually, I should do a lot more walking. But I parked up at the food line, and I walked down the street right over there. So I'm not really thinking of much. Beautiful spring morning. I see two Darley Green residents. One was pushing a baby carriage, the other one was walking her dog. Obviously, they're getting ready for work. And because it was about 8 a.m. And I had to stop for a second and think, where am I? It's just, you take so many things for granted. You take a lot of work that has been accomplished for granted. I drive down Philadelphia Pike and I look at what still needs to be done, or I'm thinking about Tri-State Mall or Claymont Steel, and I forget the work that's already gone into it and the diversity of the people involved. Whether it be back in the late 90s, the couple that saved the Darley House from becoming a Taco Bell, whether it's the Friends of the Claymont Library, whose dogged determination was to get a state-of-the-art library in Claymont, obviously along with some help too. And some people who are not here with us anymore, who have passed, who contributed to Claymont's rebirth. So I guess my thought for the day is even though we see a lot of work that needs to be done in housing, in neighborhood stabilization, and our job's never going to be done, but stop for a second and think about what you have accomplished, and that'll give you the strength to carry on and get those other things done. So I said I'd be brief, so thank you for letting me come up here.